All right, we are continuing to practice for equivalent decimals and fractions in Study Island 5th grade math. In this video, we'll be practicing just a few equivalent fractions. Now remember, equivalent fractions are things that can be reduced down to be in their simplest form, okay? There are things that when divided up equally would get us the same part to whole ratio. So here I'm looking at 4 over blank equals 8/12. If I have something divided into 12 parts, right, and I've still got 8 of them, that's going to be more than half. I can see that already because half of 12 is going to be that 6. I look over there at that 4 and I think, what relationship does it have to the 8? Well, it's half of it. So half of 8 is 4. What is half of 12? That's going to get me 6. So 4/6 is equivalent to 8/12. Remember the rule, what you do to the top, you have to do to the bottom. Type in the missing number that makes these fractions equals. 1 times what is going to get me 3? Well, 3. 1 times 3. What I do to the top, I have to do to the bottom. So 3 times 3 equals 9. So 1/3 is equivalent to 3/9. Now let's go and looky here. Type the missing numbers. I have 1/10, 2/20, 3 over blank, 4/40, 5 over blank, 6/60. I'm noticing my numbers here are increasing by tens here. I'm also noticing relationship 1 to 10, 2 to 20, 3 to 4 to 40, 5, 6. Some of you have already figured out this is 30 and this one is 50. 1 times 2 is 2, 10 times 2 is 20, 1 times 3 is 3, 10 times 3 is 30. What I do to the top, I have to do to the bottom. 1/2 equals 2/4 equals 3/6 equals over 8 equals 5/10 equals over 12. And when you're talking about equivalent fractions that are half, the numerator must be exactly half of the denominator. 1 is half of 2, 2 is half of 4, 3 is half of 6. What is half of 8? There you go. 5 is half of 10. What is half of 12? It is 6. You can also look at it like this. 1 times 6 is 6. 2 times 6 is 12. More missing numbers. Here we have 1/7. 2 over, 3 over, 4 over 28, 5 over 35, 6 over 42. 1 times 2 is 2. 7 times 2 is... What I do to the top, I have to do to the bottom. 1 times what is 3? It's 3. So I have to multiply that 3 times the bottom. 7 times 3 is 21. All right, now we're looking here at what fractions are equivalent to 4/6. Okay, I'm going to get my pen out here. So I'm going to look at 4/6. And I'm going to start writing some equivalent fractions for it, okay? 4 times 2 is 8. 6 times 2, because what I do to the top, I have to do to the bottom, is 12. Let's take it another step. 4 times 3 is 12. 6 times 3 is 18. Now look here, these numbers are getting bigger and those numbers are a whole lot smaller, so I really don't need to go any further to the left or to the right. I already see my 8/12 is there. So let's ask ourselves, what about 4/7? Is there any way I can multiply the top and the bottom by the same number to get this? 4 times 1 is 4, 6 times 1 is not 7. 4 times nothing gets me 7. It's a prime number, so this is reduced already. And this is 2/3. That's in its simplest form. But I'm wondering, is that 2/3? Does that have a relationship to the 4/6? Let's go 2/3 and then let's look at 4/6. Well, 3 times 2 is 6. 2 times 2 is 4. Therefore, these two are equivalent fractions. So I actually have 2. I have the 2/3 and the 8/12 here. All right, let's look at the 2/8. So 2/8. All right, first thing I'm going to do is reduce it. 2 can be divided by 2. Okay, I'm going to go over here to this one. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 8 divided by 2 is 4. There you go. So 1/4, 2/8. Now, there's the 2. Let's go 1 times 3. Blowing your mind yet? 1 times 3. 4 times 3 is 12. 1 times 4. And then 4 times 4 is 16. We could keep going. 1 times 5. 4 times 5 is 20th. Okay, so let's take a look at what I have up here. Well, I have my 1/4, which is listed here because it's equivalent to 2/8. I have 2/7. Is that in here? Nope. 3/12. There it is. 4/9. Nope, definitely not 4/9. It would be 4/16 in this case. So my two equivalent fractions are 1/4 and there you go. All right. So practicing equivalent fractions, look at your multiples of numbers, your factors of numbers. Those are going to be important. After you complete this video, we're going to look at fractions in lowest terms.